How's it going, guys? Coffee here. Today I wanted to go over the build that I've been playing so far for the SS4 preseason and the build that I used to level with on Frost Gemma, aka Frostbitten Gemma, Gemma 2. The build that I am running right now is still right now a bit of a hybrid of the Frost Terra with fully leaning in on the Frost Terra, basically as you normally would expect with the tree. I am pushing a little bit more energy shield because of the league mechanic where you do get bonus damage based off of your ES and life. So I was able to put these points in a little bit early. But as you can see here in the Goddess Knowledge tree, the first thing we end up taking, you just path over here all the way to the +1 skill level. While you're leveling, you can take this attack and cast speed instead of the skill cost instead of the ES. That's fine. And then you can take less of the sealed mana because you don't really use it early on. Then for leveling, we ended up pushing the Arcanist tree to 36 first. Once we got to the point, I think, where we could put in 18 points into this and then 36 points into Psychic is where we actually leaned into Frost Terra a bit more, because at that point is where we started to actually get some more gear to drop. But while you were leveling, you just still put all of your points here into this ES cold damage, these cold damage points right here, and then the cast speed, as well as the same like freeze duration, freeze, frostbite inflicted, things like that. Moving over here just for that full 36 points. And then for my last tree is where we have Psychic. Again, you don't really put points into this. By the time you start putting points in this is basically right after you get the tree. Because you're putting your 36 points into Arcanist first still no matter what. But once you do get to the point where you can actually push this over here, you have a couple options. You can just go fully into the damage over time here. But I'm leaning more into the general damage just because of the fact that we are still using Ice Lance. It's really helping with clear still at this point because we don't really have all the gear established. You don't quite have all of the affliction effect. You don't have all the reap sources or anything while you're leveling. So it's really nice to be running both Ice Lance and Frost Terra and just running like a dual 5 link basically. And we'll go over the gear here in a second. But as you can see the tree here, we're still leaning into the affliction and everything else. As we finish out the Arcanist tree with 36 points, then we'll come back and we'll fill out all of these damage over time nodes here that we're missing, which is going to be a lot of the damage over time for the build, but we don't actually need those right now. In regards to slates, you basically just use whatever you can pick up. I got lucky enough to find an affliction effect. Got a might here. So we've been using that. For those of you that are using something, I do have some filters. I do have a filter created for EU and NA, as well as Asia. So I'll make sure I put that in the comments here below as well. But this filter has been helping a lot. I basically made a filter that searches for specific gear for the build. This works for anyone who's playing, I guess, any Reap build whatsoever. So if you are using like a Yuga or something, you could kind of use this as well. You just might need to adjust some stuff. But it's basically just looking for all the affliction effect on every piece of gear. Once you do get a piece of gear and you have it, that's where you come in here and you adjust these levels right here. So this one says like I am looking for stuff only up to tier 3. Like I don't want this to be higher than tier 3 for the affliction effect. At first you just leave this no max in there. So at first you just clear the max and you just ensure that it's above 0. But now because I already have a belt that is on T4 affliction, I only want to see T3 affliction belts, right? So we kind of go through that way. In regards to the gear itself, as you can see here, nothing special. This is the gear I used to complete the hero challenge thing at level 80. So we're just running standard resistance on everything, and then we got affliction effect wherever we can fit it in and wherever we can find it. I got myself just some light ES boots, but everything else is just some affliction effect on the rings. And then for our weapons, we have some +1 cold with affliction effect that we ended up rolling into the additional damage against frozen enemies on both of them. So this is what we've been running. But we're on the search for more weapons and we'll start to get some more today. In regards to the actual skills themselves, while you are leveling, you are just going to start off with Ice Lances, and then you just run Ice Lances on a 2-link. Very quickly, you get Frost Terra, I think around level 6 or 7. So make sure you put this in as well. And then pretty much the whole time while you're leveling, you're going to want to basically be pushing Ice Lances and Frost Terra at the same time. Frost Terra is really nice damage, and then Ice Lances gets double damage or deals a bunch of extra damage against things that are on Frost Terra. So you're getting a huge bonus out of that as well. And then for while you're leveling, you will still just be running the restoration potion thing here. You'll still be running compound potion with the support for compound potion, lingering effects or whatever it's called, that gives you movement speed. You swap to Starstalker once you fully go into Terras here at once you get into maps, basically. You run Frigid Transmission with quick mobility. You don't really add Reaping Agony until, again, you lean into this Terra effect here, closer to level 80. And then for your Terra, again, you're running the same standard stuff. Control Spell, Cataclysm, Ground Divide, and Speed Up Formation. And then I'm running a Forced Start here as well. The new mobs that we have are really, really scary. So it is important to have some defenses right now because they will kind of trap you as well. So you can find yourself in some trouble. I do take Swiftness right away at the very beginning. And then as soon as they give Elemental Amplification and Frigid Domain around level 38, then we put those on as well. I don't run Ice Imbue until I got to maps. I didn't think it was worth it at all, or basically at least until like about 62, when you get the thing that is freezing all the time with Cold Pulse. At that point, Ice Imbue starts to be worth it, but other than that, it's not really worth it before. And then we're running an innate curse setup here with Biting Cold, and then we have Energy Fortress here on the seal conversion as well to seal the mana. But you can see here, again, 20 to 30 mil DPS right now with just this like self-found gear. I haven't bought any gear. For the relics and memories, I'm just using whatever Cold Pulse interval right now. I'm still searching for another one. If we can find one that actually has a good second ability. I do have these all shown on the filter. And then for my memories, it's just the same freeze effect and Cold Pulse inflicts Frostbite. So right now, when I was running it last night, Black Sail was bugged, but running these through the Dream and Nightmare situation gives you like a really, really high chance of them if you're really pushing for Black Sail markers. So let's go ahead and showcase a map, and then I'll let you guys get to it, and then I will get you updated with where I take this build in the next video. The plan is to basically just transition it into a more traditional, the more traditional build for Frost Terra. Like, I don't really anticipate doing too much more with it. Other than that, maybe I will transition it into like Haunting Abomination, but we'll see. We'll just do the boss instead. I guess this works. And you guys can see some bossing DPS. This is the T6 one, if I remember correctly. There you go. So, character's already moving along. I guess we'll show a map as well. That was too fast. Too fast. Oh, that was T5. Okay, we'll go into T6 right now, and then we'll do our standard Demimin T6. We'll see if we get one of those really spooky bosses that is going to give us a lot of trouble. We're going to do Black Sail because we're still hunting for memories and relics. This is good for anyone who is actually running on like SSF or something. Come back and look at that stuff afterwards. So right now, while the character is still not geared that much, my recommendation, honestly, is if you run into these like really tanky rares, like if they're not falling over basically instantly, I don't think it's worth killing them still. I'm just like moving on and running away. So I think it's better to just be running it like this. I mean, it's up to you if you want to run it differently. But this is how I've been running it here. Just kind of speeding through and trying to get geared. And as you can see with my filter here, I have really good display on anything that is good for the build. So we have an affliction effect ring here. It's the wrong base. We're probably not going to use it, but I can maybe go sell it to somebody or something like that. So we'll get this up. And yeah, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below, and I'll be more than happy to answer them. And other than that, see you in the next one.